Hello and welcome to Friday's Masterclass edition of Cracking the Cryptic, where I'm going to attempt to do just that for you today and take on today's Times Cryptic crossword, which is Friday's puzzle, obviously. And this is normally the hardest puzzle of the week. The snitch rating, which is this sort of unofficial rating of how difficult the Times is, suggests this is definitely harder than average. But let's have a quick look at the... So Magoo is Mark. Mark has already solved today's puzzle, 5 minutes 58, so very quickly. I want to say PNMCG is a very cryptic pseudonym of Colin Thomas, who is a very fast real solver. I think most of the top people here are typists. Verlaine, Matthew Marcus, brilliant solver. Chloe Hutton, brilliant. I mean, Chloe's taking 9 minutes on this and Matthew's taking 8 minutes, so it's definitely hard. Andrew Fisher's taking 11 minutes. Okay, that's all we need to know to be able to say this is going to be a very hard puzzle. Now, have I got my dictionary? Oh, I do, but it's very much not in the right place. Let's move the dictionary over. I won't use the dictionary to solve. I will use it to talk through some of the principles involved in solving these cryptic clues. And a couple of things to mention, actually, before we kick off. You guys might be able to explain this. Normally, I solve in Google Chrome as my web browser. But during the week, I was solving a puzzle on the Times site, and the cursor didn't move. So I'd put in a letter, and normally the cursor moves forward, and it would just stay in the same place, and it didn't seem to be recording what I was entering. So I've had to go over to whatever this browser's called. Is this Echo or something? I don't know. So I'm having to solve in a different browser today, and it discombobulates me. And anyone who could explain why that would happen, I would be most grateful. A couple of other things to mention. We had a first attempt at a themed cryptic crossword sent in this week from James Pagan, and Mark had a crack at it and enjoyed it. So I'm going to put a link to that under this video. So if you want an extra Christmas, well, an extra present, I suppose, an extra cryptic puzzle, do have a look at that. And James, thank you very much for sending that in. And a birthday to do, Tegan. It was your birthday this week. I know this was your boyfriend Aaron wrote in and said you really enjoyed the crossword videos. So thank you for enjoying them, and I hope you had a great birthday. I hope there was some chocolate cake, that's a birthday announcement in a crossword video. Now, is there anything else I need to say? There probably is. I don't know what I can't think what it is. So why don't we just get cracking and have a go. So today's Times Cryptic, here it is. Let's get cracking. Is it in the right place? It looks good, doesn't it? So 1across, 10 letters. Where peer may sit, in Lords returned to power. Where peer may sit. So if you are completely new to cryptic crosswords and you've never watched one of these masterclass videos before, a quick primer on how a cryptic crossword clue works. There is always a quick crossword clue hidden in a cryptic crossword clue. So if you're good at quick crosswords, you just have to learn the lingo, the way to read these clues, and you'll be good at cryptic crosswords. Normally, the quick crossword clue is at the start or the end. So this might be a 10-letter word, which means where peer may sit, or it may mean power or return to power. And the rest of the clue, the bit that's not the quick crossword clue, is wordplay. So it might be telling you to anagram something. It might be telling you to put one word inside another or reverse a word, things like that. Where peer may sit, in Lords returned to power. I haven't got a clue what that one is, I have to confess. Let's try one down instead. Line featured in very bad European account. Okay, I don't know what this is, but let's try and read the clue with our sort of hat on of trying to parse which bit of the clue is the definition. Now, line featured in. Words that indicate position, that seem to be telling you to put things in other things or take things out of things, that's very likely to be wordplay. So line featured in very bad European makes me think that that's all wordplay. I need to think of a word for line, or indeed L is an abbreviation for the word line. Let's just quickly deal with that. Mark covered this video for me last week, so he didn't get to say that abbreviations have to be supported by the dictionary. You can't just abbreviate any word in a clue to its initial. It has to be supported by the dictionary. So if we go to L, I think we will find, hopefully, unless I've gone mad, which I might have done by the... No, there it is, line. So this line could be the letter L, and that's featuring in some sort of synonym for very bad, or it could be V for very, and then a word for bad. European is very often E, actually. Again, let's go and see why. There are some short synonyms for European. An example of somebody who is a European might be a Pole, P-O-L-E, someone from Poland. So you're always trying to think of short synonyms, because normally they are the building blocks of the overall answer. But if we look at E here, let's just have a quick look at that, and we should find... Oh, hang on, did I miss it? There, European. There we go. So I suspect that this is... It's not great, but I suspect it's a 9-letter word that ends in E, has an L in it, and means account. An account could be like a bank account, or it could mean a telling. If you give an account of something, you relate it, don't you? You tell a story. And all of that is a very long way of saying I don't know what the answer is. Now, let's try 6 across. Artist losing urge, knocked back wine. Artist losing urge, knocked back wine. What? So again, the way I'm reading this clue is I'm going to guess a 7-letter artist. Why do I think that? It's because I know a short synonym for the word urge, and that would be the word egg, as in to egg on. If you egg somebody on, you urge them to do something. So I'm thinking we might need a 7-letter name of an artist, take egg out, and reverse it to give the name of a wine. So something like rosé. See, if it was a different artist, that could... Escher, no. I don't know, I quite like rosé, just because if you reverse it, you get the OR at the end. And I guess there are probably some artists whose names end in OR. So, yeah, let's see if we can support an R at the start of 6 down. Games packed in Orcadian Island with any luck. Oh, goodness me, that I'm moving swiftly on from that one. I haven't got a clue what that is. I'm tempted to just go on an excursion in the grid in an effort to get something done. Let's try 8 across. Northern residents reportedly ruled this place in the East End. Gosh, there's a lot going on in this. I'll deal briefly with parts of it. If you see cryptic crosswords clues refer to the East End, it's talking about the East End of London, which could mean there's some sort of Cockney rhyming slang thing going on, or it could mean that you drop an H from the start of a word, because people in the East End, apparently, according to cryptic crossword writers, tend to drop their H's. This place in the northern residents... That's going to be something like Laplanders or Laps or something. Reportedly will indicate that it's a homophone. Ruled this place. So this place would be the word here, wouldn't it? That's, if I was to describe this place, I'd be describing here. So here in the East End might be, drop the H, E-R-E. So if that's right, I wonder if this ends E-R-E. And actually, we're looking for a 8-letter word which means northern residents. And we need a word for ruled. Reigned. Reindeer. Oh, that's beautiful. Well, it's reindeer. It's definitely reindeer. That's lovely. That's absolutely lovely. But I sort of had to back into how I got that. So this word reportedly is absolutely crucial. And it indicates it's if you hear something but spell it differently. So what I want you to think about is a word for ruled. If a king ruled, he reigned. R-E-I-G-N-E-D. And this place would be here, but in the East End would be ear. So we've got reigned ear, as in ruled this place in the East End. But if you say reindeer really quickly, it sounds like reindeer, and northern residents, certainly in the realm of Father Christmas, we might find some reindeer over in Lapland. So reindeer is going to be correct. Let's go back. Oh no. And this line is row here. Could that be a W? Nothing to cover area, one's quick to protect. Nothing to cover. Area one's quick to protect. Wow. Gosh, I mean, I have got this, but it's a brilliant clue again. Okay, we're definitely dealing with a brilliant clue writer. Now, all I can say to you is the way I've got this is by thinking about short synonyms for the word nothing. And the word I thought for, 3 letters, is the word nil. And I know that A is a valid abbreviation for area. So if I put, if my nil covers, it surrounds the A for area, we can construct the word nail. And at first blush, you might think, well, what's that got to do with the rest of the clue? One's quick to protect. Well, of course, the quick of your nail is it's the part of the nail that protects it. Let's look at the dictionary. Here we go. Quick. Under the nails. So the nail is protecting the quick, and this is a great example of how cryptic clue writers try to mislead you. It's so hard to read this clue and think it's about, the part of your body that's under the nail. And yet it is. Now, okay, that puts pay to my idea. Line could be rank, then. Line featured in very bad. And we think it might end in E. Let's see if we can support the E here. Dash of colour in spun yarn produces striking effect. Well, okay, I have got this. I don't know really that I was helped by the E, but I am familiar with a 5-letter synonym for striking effect. And this is a good example of a clue that can be read almost like a mathematical equation. If we look at the word produces here, it sort of does the duty of an equal sign in an equation. So we've got a dash of colour, whatever that means. We put that in spun yarn, whatever that means, to produce, to equal a word that means a striking effect. So let's try and think about how we could read the opening of this clue in a cryptic way. What could dash of colour mean in a cryptic sense? Well, if you have a dash of something, what do you have? You have a tiny amount of it, don't you? If you just put a dash of Tabasco in your tomato juice, you probably aren't going to have too much. It's going to be the tiniest amount. And therefore, what this is trying to hint at is you just take the first letter of the word colour. So a dash of colour is the first letter of the word colour, C. And that's being put into spun yarn. Well, we're not talking about literally the spinning of yarn here. We're talking about spinning of a word that means yarn. And then, of course, we're not thinking of yarn as in thread, because that would be too simple. If somebody spins you a yarn, sort of colloquially, they would be telling you a story. So can we think of a 4-letter word for a story that we can turn around? Well, the simplest synonym, I suppose you might think of lie, but but tail is what comes to mind. Now, if we spin the word tail and put C in the middle of it, we get the word éclate. I don't even know if I'm saying that correctly, but I've always known it from cryptic crosswords. Never a word you use in speech, and it's not there. Oh, okay, because it's got an acute accent. Éclat, a striking effect. So isn't that almost exactly? Yes, striking effect is what's defined. So that is how to solve that clue. Ludicrous in a way, in that, you know, I promise you, this is a write-in if you're if you're experienced at reading these clues. If you're not, it's absolutely brutal and totally ridiculous. There, I've said it. Let's have a look at this one. Ascendant bird is source of magic in primitive religion. Something like Jainism or something. I'm pretty certain this ends ism. Why do I think it ends ism? Well, ascendant bird, let's deal with that later, is, I think, is just plain. And the source of the word magic, its original letter, its starting letter, is M. So ism feels like a very good ending, because in is doing the duty of the equal sign here in terms of mathematical equations. So we need a primitive religion. And ascendant bird, well, if it's a down clue, if a word ascends, it would reverse, wouldn't it? So I think we're looking for a 4-letter bird that has an I as its second letter. And I should just be able to think of whatever the answer is here, but I'm not getting it. Kiwi. No, surely not. I can't be. Iwikism. That's not a word. I'm feeling quite embarrassed that that's the 4-letter word with an I, bird. Come on, Simon, what is this? Primitive religion. Not sure, but let's see if we can use the M, I suppose. Wine store in future undergoing merger. Ooh. Wine store in future undergoing merger. I don't really know how to read that. Let's go back to this one again. Line featured in very bad European account. Chronic is very bad, isn't it? That's the answer. Okay, so it's chronicle. We've got chronic for very bad, as in you might have a chronic illness. Line is that L. Well, actually the correct way to read it is very bad European is chronic E, and then the L goes in the middle of the chronic and the E to give chronicle. Right, let's go back to 1across. Where peer may sit. Well, I was thinking of Commons, but the peer would sit in the House of Lords, so I don't think it's Commons. Where peer may sit. Oh, a peer is like a contemporary, isn't it? It's somebody who's your equal. Where peer may sit. Classmate? Class in Lords. Returned to power. Not sure. And I'm not prepared to imagine that this is the letter I, so I'm not using that. Let's try. We've got a starting letter, 18 down. Put in from wing. Batty scored, grabbing second. Okay, well, this sounds like a reference to David Batty. Now, of course, it sounds like a reference to David Batty, the footballer. It isn't, right? Well, if it turns out to be, I will look stupid. But bear in mind, these clue writers delight. It is their raison d'etre to make you groan and go, oh, how stupid I am. So ignore whatever the surface reading of the clue seems to say. Ignore it. It will not help you. It will just mislead you. So let's try and think of it. We're just using the words when and their literal meaning, not not the pictures they conjure up. Pictures will not help. Put in from wing. Batty. Okay, batty. If somebody is, if you described somebody as batty, they would be bananas, they'd be nuts, wouldn't they? So I'm thinking that's an anagram indicator, and scored looks quite good, doesn't it? So if we anagram scored, we've got 6 of the 7 letters, and that's grabbing, so it's taking S for second. It won't surprise anybody that second can be abbreviated to S in the dictionary. So we've now got our anagram fodder. We know it begins with C, and it means put in from wing. Okay, and that is a football reference. If you put it in from the wing, it was crossed, wasn't it? You crossed the ball. Now let's try that one. A mother needed for man thus deprived. Okay. Very helpful D here. Here is an interesting point, and I admit, it has been said before that there's very little interesting that's ever come out of my mouth, particularly by my sister. But this is an interesting point. If you're interested in cryptic crosswords, why is this A in the clue here? A mother. And the reason I want to ask that question is, let me read the clue again without that A in it. Mother needed for man thus deprived. How does that differ in meaning from a mother needed for man thus deprived? And I think we could all agree that it's a subtle difference bordering on 0 difference in terms of meaning. So, why is that A there? The reason it's there is it's necessary for the wordplay. In other words, boom. That A is there. It's going at the start of the clue. Then we need a 3-letter word for mother. And that's damn. And then we get Adam. And Adam, as in Adam and Eve, was a man deprived of a mother, because Adam was the first man, and presumably, therefore, I think God just created Adam in a biblical way. So that is why the answer is Adam. Now we've got an M in 13 down. So pole with blade, died, restrained by cleaner, in executive suite. Good grief, there's a lot going on there. Pole. I was thinking of something like a pole on a ship might be a beam. With blade, died. Pole with blade. That would be an interesting definition. I could imagine there might be a word for a pole with a blade. Died, restrained by cleaner. So D can be died as an abbreviation. And then cleaner can sometimes be char, as in a char lady. It's a bit of an anachronism, but it is, if we go and have a look at that, it does come up quite often. So it's char. Obviously char is into, here we go, a charwoman. And then a charwoman was a woman employed to do rough cleaning. So we do see this word for cleaner sometimes. But what's executive suite then? Probably ending in an M. CEO room or something. Or it could be, perhaps more likely, it's a 9-letter word that means executive suite. Pole could be an or, perhaps? Not sure. Should we try 22? At least this is 325 and not a 10-letter word. Stirring up. Stirring up, what might that mean? Let's just stop there. Stirring up. Stirring up might mean an anagram indicator, because if you stir letters up, you would move them around, wouldn't you? So stirring, in fact, stirring could be an anagram indicator on its own. Stirring up old men, the writer. Voltaire, say. Nom de plume is the answer, isn't it? Okay, I've been lucky there, because the way I got that was thinking of what's the writer? I tried to think of synonyms for writer, and that could be, writer could be something that writes like a pen. But the writer, if the crossword setter is referring to themselves, it would be me. So that instantly made me think, oh, maybe I'm putting me at the end of this answer. And then nom de plume occurred to me. I don't know enough about Voltaire to know that he wrote under a pseudonym, but presumably therefore did. So why is it this? Okay, so stirring is the anagram indicator. So we are stirring up old men, that's 8 letters, and adding me, the writer, to the end of that stirred up pot of stew to give nom de plume for Voltaire, for example. That's why the word say is in there, because obviously if we just put Voltaire does not define nom de plume. But when the word say is included, Voltaire is an example of a nom de plume. And that's why say is necessary. The other way that could have been done, just from a technical standpoint in terms of cryptic crossword writing, is if it had a question mark at the end. That also serves that purpose, so look out for that. Let's try that one, 21 down. America, perhaps, putting horse into space. What a good... Again, ignore it. I've got a horse sort of with a whatever that's called, a helmet on, floating around in space. That is not going to help me. I want this to be sphere for some reason. I don't know. My brain has gone to sphere. I don't think it is sphere, but America perhaps. Oh, eponym? That's right. Good grief. Where has that come from? Okay. So this is quite an interesting word. It comes up in sort of bizarre clues from time to time. So an eponym, a person real or mythical, from whose name another name, especially a place name, is derived. So a hero invented to account for the place, a character who gives a play its title, a distinguishing title. A name so derived. So it's saying that America is an eponym because it has been derived from... where? I'm not actually sure. But okay, but how does the clue work? Well, short synonyms for horse. Horse can be H, I think. In fact, let me check that. Why do I think that? Is that from heroin or something? I mean, heroin is there, and I think horse is a slang word for heroin. Yeah, I think that's a bit too indirect, probably, for horse to just be used to indicate H. Let me go and have a look at the... Have I just gone mad? My knowledge of illicit drugs is poor. Oh, it is there. And it's only derived from cryptic crosswords. So I can't speak from experience about anything like this, but I think horse for H would be a little indirect. I think it would have to say heroin rather than horse, although, because to go from horse to heroin to H is sort of too many steps removed. I'm trying to think of a good example. Let's use a different example. Could you use row to indicate the letter L? Because row defines line. No, it's too indirect. So other short synonyms for horse could be nag. That comes up a lot. GG, perhaps, as in double G, or pony, which is what we've got here. Now you may say, but okay, horse into space. Why is M space? That is a great question, and it's an outrage, really. No, I mean it's not technically wrong. It's just very difficult if you're new to cryptic crosswords. In printing, there are small spaces called M's and N's, EM and EN. Let's go and have a look, and I will show you. M, the unit of measurement used in spacing material and in estimating the dimensions of pages. And there's something similar. I don't know whether an N or an M is larger. Oh, an N is half of an M. So there we go, an eponym there, because America is an example of an eponym, which is why the word perhaps is in the clue. So if we looked at this one, no. 24 across. Like and caught, nymph at first, overcome with emotion. Like and caught. Okay. This is a good clue again. I love the phrase of the court nymph. as if in Henry VIII's time, he's looking around the court for where's the court nymph gone? I've got the jester. Where's that nymph? But no, that's not how this works. So again, let's try and think of the building blocks for the clue. It could be a 6-letter word which means like, or it could be a 6-letter word that means overcome with emotion. Now, if it did mean overcome with emotion, how would we split the rest of this clue up? Can we think of any short synonyms for the word like? And if something is like something, it's as it, isn't it? AS. So AS and like are very nice short synonyms that cryptic crossword writers loved. If you caught somebody, caught can be CT, so look out for that. Let's go and have a check and check caught. There we go. But if you caught someone in a romantic sense, you would woo them. Nymph at first is the first letter of the word nymph, so there is no sense in which we're talking about a court nymph in a king's or a queen's court. That is not what's going on. Literally, nymph at first is the N, and then we get a swoon, which if you're overcome with emotion, you are presumably a swoon. Now, what's this then? Something room, grand room, executive suite. I don't think I've heard of a grand room. Pole? Pole. I suppose pole, actually, something I didn't say, which I should have done, is a pole could be the North Pole or the South Pole. So N or S, I think, would be possible for pole. And you may say, that's outrageous, you just told me row can't be L. But pole is so synonymous with the North and South Pole that I think it could be N or S. With blade. Died could be that. D. Restrained by clean. Oh, a broom is a cleaner. Boardroom, executive suite. Oh, Simon, you silly man. Okay. Not grand room, boardroom. So I got that from thinking of a cleaner as being a broom. And once you have that thought, it's not too difficult. So pole was an oar. Oh, a pole with a blade is an oar, I suppose. Yeah. So if you're rowing, I was thinking about a pole with a spear on the end, like a bayonet, which shows how poorly my brain was tuned into this clue. Died is D. So we've got oar and D in broom to give boardroom, which is certainly an executive suite. Now let's have a look at this one. Combination or something, I don't know. Wine store in future undergoing merger. Combining? A bin is a wine store. Oh, I quite like that. Let's see why that's right. Yeah, okay. So a wine store is a bin. In future, the future is what's coming, isn't it? So coming surrounds the word bin. Combining, if something is undergoing a merger, it is in the process of combining. Oh, actually, hang on. What's going on here? Portmanteau word must be. Otherwise, I am not going. I've just noticed this U at the end of this one. Motel. Motel is an example of a portmanteau word, which is a word that's built up from two other words. So I think motel is a motor hotel or something. So motel being one, portmanteau word. Let's put that in and then try and explain from the wordplay what's going on. Portmanteau word. In road we turn to map when lost. It's an anagram then, isn't it? If words are treated in a lost way, their letters are sort of all over the place. So road we turn to map, I'm presuming, is 15 letters. And it is. So I'm not going to check the anagram. I think we're pretty confident that must be right. So let's have a look at 27. C. Okay, Mediterranean or something? Round building. Restricting boys. Interfering. Okay, so did the good thing that I've done there is read the clue in a particularly strange way, and that is helpful in the sense that I refuse, if I can, to read the clue as a sentence, because it won't help you. It'll just conjure up these naughty images in your mind. We're trying to read the clue to detect what the mathematical equation is in the clue's structure. So C, round building. I'm thinking of a word for C that goes round a word for a building. And then restricting boys. Okay, so I've got to... whatever I've just come up with there has to restrict. It has to surround a synonym for boys. And then interfering, then, if all of that's true, I'm looking for a 10-letter word which means interfering. And I think this might... I don't know, but I'm thinking I do know a 10-letter word which would be meddlesome. If somebody is interfering, they are meddlesome. Now, why? C could be med, as in the Mediterranean. Round building, dome. Surround, restricting boy. Good grief. So boy here is Les. And you might say, what does that mean? Well, I think it's just a boy's name, as in like Les Dennis. So it could have been any boy's name, any 3-letter boy's name, to give meddlesome. And yeah, I mean, it certainly seems to work. Let's try this one, which ends in O. Avocado, I'm going to go for. Girl, anything but restrained climbing tree. Okay, no, it's not avocado, I don't think. What's this going to be? This could be a girl's name. Anything but restrained climbing tree. So it feels like we need a word for anything but, or perhaps like a boy or a boy's name, restraining a reversal of a word for a tree. I mean, I don't know, have a clue what this is. Let's try 25. For light work operetta is my first thought. Tree with a pot should be moved. That's right, isn't it? So I think it's just experience. So let's read the clue in an equation-y way. For light work is saying, in order to get a word that means light work, and a light work here is implying not a terribly serious work, and an operetta is sort of, I think it's technically defined as a light opera, isn't it? Let's have a look. Operetta. A short, light, often rather trivial musical drama. So in order to give this word that means a light work, tree with a pot, so we put the word tree with a and pot, and we anagram them because we move them. It tells you what to do. So we get operetta. We get a T in this funny old one going down, but let's try this one first. Indecent call is a bloomer. My first thought there was harebell. No, it's not. It's bluebell, isn't it? If something is indecent, it's blue. As in, like a blue movie would have been a sort of an indecent film. And then if you call somebody colloquially, you give them a bell. So, and then bluebell is obviously a bloomer in the sense of something that can bloom, a flower. Now, 19 across. Dissenters on reflection, no different in southwest. Okay, I don't know what this is, but let's think about let's think about, can we detect which side of the clue at least is the definition? It's not actually easy to do that. Dissenters on reflection. The words on reflection seem to indicate something going backwards, don't they? So can we think of a word for dissenters, naysayers or something, being reflected? Not easy at least. And then the other side of the clue, southwest. I mean, southwest is most obviously SW, isn't it? So that would suggest that is not the definition. So on balance, I think this probably is a 9-letter word which means dissenters. Right, which is a plural. So perhaps what we have to do is put southwest backwards around something that means no different. And it means dissenters. Dissenters are rebels, aren't they? Mutineers. I think we've got the right idea, I just can't think of the word. No different. I don't know. I might have the wrong end of the stick there, so we better not do that. Should we go for 23? Let's have a look at 23. 1, opposing. Somebody who opposes something is an anti as a noun. So I'm wondering if that might be the answer. And it is. Extraordinary action is saying treat the letters of the word action in an extraordinary way. Anagram them. And then conservative must go. So that would appear to give us... So obviously to create anti we need to get rid of C and O. I'm not familiar with CO being a valid abbreviation for conservative, which is why I'm just pausing there. Extraordinary action, conservative must go. Oh, okay, no, I'm totally misleading you, aren't I? Right. It's not an anagram of action, although it looks for all the world like it is. It's not. An extraordinary action is an antic. And if you remove C, which is a valid abbreviation for conservative, from the word antic, you do get the word anti. So I think that's what's going on. Let's just check that literally an extraordinary action. It's just straight out of the dictionary. So that is why, I mean, we could have lucked into that by assuming CO could be a valid abbreviation for conservative, but I don't think it can be. Let's go and have a look. If it could be, then the clue would work in 2 different ways. No, it doesn't look like it's there. I mean, my dictionary is slightly old. Sorry about that, Shane, if you're watching. But yeah, anyway, let's try 14. That would give us a way into 15 down. Squads not in contact with ancient Greek. Squads not in. Oh, this is something like Ionic or Doric or something. It's the name of an ancient Greek. So I like Ionic, I like Doric. I don't know why they're there. See, squads not in contact. See, I wonder whether IC can be in contact. It can certainly be in command. If this was C, stubborn batting contained by over bold, say. Contained by stubborn. It's something like obstinate, isn't it? It is obstinate. Okay. So again, if you're familiar with cricket, it's hard to read this clue and not think about, oh, Jeffrey Boycott's in, and it's a really stubborn innings. The clue has little to do with that. I mean, we're looking for a 9-letter word which means stubborn. The rest of the clue, batting contained by. Well, that suggests we need to put a word for batting inside something. Can we think of any short synonyms for batting? If you're batting in cricket, you are in, aren't you? You're literally in, rather than being out. And so I think what we do is we put in there. Contained by over. Well, in cricket scoring, over is O. I mean, it's very hard. I appreciate it's really hard if you're not familiar with cricket to see any of this, but cricket is a very important thing for Cryptic Crossword setters. It just is. Bold. In cricket scoring, if somebody is bowled by someone, you'd write B. And if you say something, you state it. So we put obstate around in for batting, and we get obstinate, which means stubborn. Should we... Oh, actually... Oh, no. I'm really wrong then, aren't I, about this ending in IC. Oh. Squads not in contact with ancient Greek. Wow. I don't know. Oh, this one does have S at the end, so it may well begin with W. Should we go back to the tree one? A girl. Anything but restrained climbing tree. Isn't there some sort... There's a word like anetto that means something. I can't remember if it's like a liqueur, though. Ooh. Anything but restrained. It is anetto. Okay, and the only reason I've got this is a vague awareness of the word, and from the wordplay. So if you'd asked me what anetto is, I'd have said it's a word. It might be a drink. I think now it's a tree. This is why. I think a girl is Anne, A-N-N-E. And anything but restrained, if you act in an anything but restrained way, you would act in an over-the-top way. And I think we'd all be familiar with OTT being over the top. And OTT is climbing. And that gives anetto. So I'm not going to change anetto. So I now feel justified in looking it up. Oh no, it's not there. Oh goodness, I've made a mistake. It's anato, which I should have thought of. Because of course, Annette, you see, that's just ignorance. That's me thinking I've seen the word anetto, and I'm not thinking that the girl could equally have been Anna as Anne. And anato was apparently the answer. Gosh, so I've dodged a bullet there. A bright orange colouring matter obtained from fruit pulp of a tropical American tree. That's bizarre. So why isn't the answer? Why is the answer tree? Why is it defining tree and not pulp or colouring matter? Because the tree is a Bixa orellana, apparently, rather than an anato. That's quite interesting. I don't know. I don't know the answer to that. People better at plant life than me will be able to tell us whether anatos are trees or whether that is indeed the colour, whatever it said, the fruit pulp or something. But anyway, anato, I think is the answer there. So if this was W, what have we got then? Dissenters. It's going to... No different. Same? Something mass? No different. I'm not sure. Still don't know what that one is. Don't know what this one is. Have I looked at this one? No. Okay, let's have a look at this one. Government department. Put female in igloo. Again, just ignore it. I know it's trying to conjure up images. Government department is a ministry. Foreign office. FO. Put female in igloo. An igloo is a cold house. Apparently not that cold, although I've never been in. I have been in the ice hotel in Lapland, and it was quite cold when I tried to sleep in it. Put female in igloo. Igloo question mark. Government department. And then, okay, so what's the definition? Is it home office would be a government department. Home of ice. Oh, that's beautiful. Isn't that beautiful? It's really obvious once you think of it, but until you do, you sort of, oh, that's really, I really like that. Put female in igloo. Female can be F. You might see that on a lavatory door. And that goes in a home of ice. A home made of ice could describe an igloo, which is why the question mark is there. So home office, obviously the home office is run, or it's certainly a government department. Now, okay, let's try that one. Well, we've got a C. Canal company introduces arrangement of locks. Okay, so my first thought here is that the constructor is trying to make us think of a canal lock. Obviously, a lock on a canal is a way of changing the level of the water so that the boats can go up and down and things like that. But an arrangement of locks, that sounds much more like a haircut to me. So why is it haircut? Or is it crew cut? Or crew canal? I don't know. I quite like crew cut because a crew can be a company, as in a group of people. So, but that would require canal to be defined as cut. That rings a vague bell. So I'm wondering if this is crew cut. If cut can be canal, that works because we've got cut here. A word for company introduces the word cut, so it precedes it. And that gives an arrangement of locks, as in a haircut. A crew cut is like a short haircut, isn't it? So I quite like that. Gives us a T in this one. Squads not in contact. What is that getting at? Ancient Greek. I'm trying to think. Electo? Might need this letter to get that one, I think. What about 6 across? We did look at this, didn't we? Oh, I thought this might be rosé, but now wine might be sack is a type of wine. Why is it that? Artist losing urge, knocked back. Oh, no, I don't like that. That doesn't feel right at all. Can I think of another wine that could go in here? Not immediately. Let's try 6 down. Oh no, I looked at this. This was an Orcadian island. Oh, goodness. Staffa? Is that an Orcadian island? I doubt it. With any luck. I don't know. Let's try 9 across. Lacking sleep. Sun leaves city. Sun can be abbreviated to S. So perhaps we need a 7-letter city and we're going to take S out and it will mean lacking sleep. Like tired or What is that then? Problem is 7-letter cities are quite legion. There are a lot of those, aren't there? We might have to look at 5 down. Second rate cash prize. That's hard. I've got that, but that's hard. Second rate, my first thought was S for second. My second thought was if something is second rate, you give it a B grade, wouldn't you, rather than an A grade? So I wondered if it began with B. My third thought, which turned out to be right, was to think of synonyms for prize. And I thought, end it with this ending, perhaps a pot. If you take the pot, you get the prize, don't you? And then I thought, well, cash... Tin is one of these weird synonyms for cash. Let's go and have a look at that. Money, there we go. And if something is tin pot, it's second rate. Now we should therefore... Oh, what's that then? Returned to power. This ending here is returning, i.e. reversing, to... and P, which is a valid abbreviation for power from sort of physics equations. So the Lord's chamber chamber pot, is that what it is? That's funny. Okay, so a chamber pot, I think. I mean, I'm not totally sure what I'm about to say is correct, but I think it's like an old, isn't it an old toilet that you used to use in the olden days in a bedroom or something? I could be totally wrong about this. You're all laughing at me, aren't you? I've never used one of those, but I think that's what it's saying. Oh, no, it's better than that. It's not where peer may sit, as in where a lord or a lady may sit. It's where somebody who is peeing may sit, where a peer may sit. It's on a chamber. Frankly, that is brilliant. And then the Lords is an example of a chamber, as in the Chamber of the Lords or the Commons. Ah, that is what a fantastic clue. Where peer may sit. Somebody who is doing a pee. That's brilliant. That's all you can say about that. That is totally brilliant. Animism? Yeah, minor. Okay, animism is something I've vaguely heard of. Must be a primitive religion. We'll look it up in a moment, but a bird is a minor bird. Minor can have an H on the end, I think, but I think it can be spelled M-I-N-A. Let's have a look. Oh, no. That's not what I thought it was. Okay, so it can only have an H on the end if you spell it M-Y-N-A, actually, but it is there, minor, as in a bird. So animism, the attribution of a soul to natural objects and phenomena, from G.E. Stahl's theory that the soul is the vital principle and source of the phenomena of animal life. Okay, so primitive religion, animism. Now what's this then? Does it begin I or ever or Adele, ultimately inclined to throttle pub, trumpeter. Okay, well, I've got it now. Something that trumpets is an elephant. Now, why is it elephant? I don't know. Adele ultimately, I think, is going to be the ultimate letter, the last letter of the word Adele. That's E. Inclined, if something is inclined, it lent, L-E-A-N-T. To throttle pub, PH for pub. Gosh, that's difficult. Public house. That's a strange old abbreviation. Let's go and have a look. Oh, it's not there actually. I mean, it should. I think it should be there. Let's look at it under public house. Public house. I mean, it's a pub, isn't it? I mean, I'm sure in sort of ordnance survey maps, PH, I might be wrong, but that's certainly how I would interpret the clue. PH for public house is definitely an abbreviation that I've seen before. Okay, now have we improved our lot in life? We have got an N in this one. Oh, lacking sleep. Sun leaves city. So now all we have to do is work out what this city is. Like not Norwich, no. I mean, if I misunderstood how this works, that's possible. Naples, it's napless. Oh goodness, that's clever. Right. So if you're lacking sleep, you are without a nap. You are napless. And then Sun S leaves napless to give Naples, which is a city in English, city in Italy, and it's about as far from Norwich as you can possibly imagine. So sorry if you're from Norwich, but that's true. Right, let's go and have a look at this one. With any luck, what on earth? Games packed in Orcadian Island. Orcadian Island. So that's going to be an island in the Orkneys. I don't know. With any luck. What could games be? PE? Maybe. So 7-letter Orcadian Island? Okay, can we think of any word that fits this construction? I'm not seeing it immediately, that's for sure. This PE thing is conjecture, though. That could be total rubbish. I don't think I do know that. All right, let's try this one again. Dissenters on reflection, no different. You see, I really like the southwest idea there. And then this is going to be a backwards 7-letter expression, which means no different. Oh, Wesleyans then. Is it something like that? Wesleyans, so religious dissenters. God, I mean, that's so different. That's so difficult. No different. No is a synonym of the word no, is nay. If you were voting against something, you might say nay. And if something is different, it is else. E-L-S-E. So nay else is reversed in SW, and that's all turned. So sorry, nay else is in SW, and that's all turned round to give Wesleyans, so religious dissenters. Oh, something fully then, with any luck. Hopefully works. Now, why? I have no idea. Games could still be PE. Hoffily. No, Simon, stop being silly. Packed into Orcadian Island. There cannot be an Orcadian island called Hoffily. There cannot be. I refuse to believe it. What's this? Pluto or something? Squads not in contact with ancient Greek. And what's that? Oh, hock could be wine. Hockney. Yen. Gosh, David Hockney. Okay, so we've got Hockney for the artist, losing not egg, but yen, which is if you have a yen to do something, you have an urge to do it. So the reversal of yen is removed from Hockney to give hock, which is a type of old wine. Now, I still don't understand, hopefully. What am I missing there? Games. I don't know. I mean, it's simple. If there is an Orcadian island called Hoffully, there just can't be. I don't think there is. Games packed in. Oh, no. Okay, Hoy. Hoy. I have heard of an island, Hoy. And so it's games. If you do games at school, you do PE. If a theatre is packed, it's full. So it's PE full in the island of Hoy, which must be an Orkney island. And that leaves just 14 across. We've not got any pangrammatic nonsense going on today. So we're not going to have any advantages in these unchecked letters. We simply have to just get the answer. Now, it's not to do with Luton, is it? I'm trying to think of football. Squads not in contact with ancient Greek. There's no way any of these are wrong, is there? Crew cut. I mean, crew cut, it must be right. I say it must be right. I'm pretty sure it's right. So okay. Squads not in contact with. Okay. Plato is the ancient Greece. It's a squad as in a soul. It's not to do with football. Again, the images that are being conjured in my mind are not helping. But it's a squad as in a squad of soldiers, a platoon. And if you're in contact with something, you're on it. And so we take on out because it's not in contact with. To give an ancient Greek, and Plato was an ancient Greek, and that's probably the solution to the puzzle. Now just let's check cut and canal then, which was the thing I really wasn't sure about. Is it there? It probably is. There's a lot of definitions here. An excavation for a road railway. Well, I mean, a canal would need an excavation. Maybe that's where it comes from. Yeah, I'm going to guess that. I think a canal. I mean, a canal is an artificial waterway. It would need an excavation. So I think that must be right. So let's submit. Let's see if we're correct. And we are. There we go. So we had the shank with an arto, but apart from that, it was all good. And I have to say, I mean, these 2 across answers here, chamber pot and reindeer, they are wonderful. Actually, home office, it's almost like the constructor's just gone boom, boom, boom. I'm just on fire here. Yeah, there's a lot to admire in this puzzle. A lot to admire. Very much enjoyed. Now, I do quite like showing you that I'm not a complete imbecile sometimes by having a go at the quick cryptic and actually racing. I will try. And this might prove that I am an imbecile, but we'll give it a go. Right, come on. Bird, dog, also heard. I want that to be sentence. Don't know why. Cockatoo. Cockatoo, I think. Not sure. Extra part of room. Extra is more. Let's try the downs. Junior, cub, cuba. Bird runs into bow, crow. Managed to move inside tram. Oh, I don't know. Fancy, ornate. Yes, ornate. Shaped, end of wood, then too sharp. Shaped, don't know. Mutated the gene, I figure, I think that's 18. Anagram, what's that? Deer with leg cut. No. Simon, don't pause. First of buds, imminent, in flower, looming. Tenant is upset about losing money initially. Monthly payment is don't know. What was this one? Manage to move inside. Oh, it's an anagram. Manage. And administer is the answer. Let's try not to mistype it. And this is installment. 10 down. Every bit of newspaper coverage ultimately in vogue. All the rage, surely. This one, best or otherwise pulse strobe. Oh, I need this one. Shaped end of wood, then 2 sharp. Sharp on. It's something like on the something, isn't it? On the dot? On the dot, I think. Yeah, on the dot, so stag is the answer there. Stage cut. Talk with jazz fan about film director. I don't know. I hope that's not a real film director. Philly say kenneling a husky. Horse, that's a lovely clue. Gosh, what a clever clue. Fruity little things peeled, tennis gear off. That feels like an anagram, and I don't know what it is. Follow 4 letters from the editor. Follow 4 letters from the editor. Heed. Clever. Failing isn't rare for device with holes. Strainer might be the answer there. Assignment or task, surely. Clerical author, don't know. So, chit chat. Oh, that could be right. Hitchcock or something. Is it chit chat? I don't know if Hitch is a shortening of Hitchcock. Easy line composed in academic success. An academic success. Yeah, I don't know. Simon, stop being so dumb. What's this one? Oh, this was the... Oh, is this tangerines or something? I quite like the idea of that being tangerines. It fits. So an academic success. Line composed. Easy. Painless. Pass is an academic success. Yeah, okay. Freezing ale bitter. That's easy enough. Some design a tooth that bites. That's it's a gnat. An equine sound in chestnut about right. Equine sound is a bray, I suppose. So this clerical priest, oh, priestly, yes, as in the author. So that's what we'll do there. Submit. I did that a bit haphazardly. It was right. 17th, appalling, absolutely appalling. There's no other words for it. See, look at these times. John McCabe, 2 minutes 17. Where was John's time on the times though? I didn't see that on the normal puzzle. Chloe, 2 minutes 17. Jason James, 2 minutes 54. So it's amazing the difference there. Matthew Marcus, little old me. Let's see who else beat me, and we can. Yeah, lots of people. Dean's a very good solver actually. So at least I've beaten somebody who's Tom's good solver as well. So yeah, okay. But. It wasn't too bad. There were some great clues as well in that one. So that is this week's masterclass. I hope you enjoyed it. As usual, a little appeal. If you do enjoy these videos, the algorithm, because I think cryptic crosswords are still a bit niche in the sense that they don't travel as well as Sudoku, because they have all of these linguistic strangenesses, but they are wonderful. And if you do enjoy the video, please do think about subscribing or liking it or dropping a kind comment. We would really appreciate it, and try and teach this algorithm that these puzzles are worthy of more attention, because they are just wonderful things. And we know this because of the number of emails we get every week from people who say, I could never do cryptic crosswords and now I love them. And people get obsessed with them, which is exactly what happened to Mark and me back in the day. We got obsessed with them because there is something completely magical about the English language. Words are our most inexhaustible source of magic. Albus Dumbledore. Anyway, thanks for watching. We'll be back later with another edition of Cracking the Cryptic.